Bulletcast for life.
Get up! This is a revolution! This is our time to rise! Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert, this is gonna hurt. When your face is in the dirt, you'll know your death is what I seek. We are the elite, and you are the weak. And I will always get back up on my feet. Why are they alive?
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the microphone messiah. I'm here with the Canadian destroyer, Brandon Tanguma. BT, what's going on, man?
What up, everyone? Once again, I'm not super sick. I don't know how Philip's feeling, but we're gonna power through it. No days off for a reason.
Man, I gotta wrestle. I gotta go bump and feed. I got a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. Gonna be kind of a quicker episode, ladies and gentlemen. Stephanie's Places is gonna be airing on what channel? Are they gonna be on A&E with this one? The Stephanie going around hanging out with wrestlers, and so she's on the boat with a bloodline, and on the yacht with a bloodline.
I haven't seen like the official statements or anything, but I thought I heard it's going to be a Netflix show. This is very similar to Peyton's Places, which is Peyton Manning doing this with football or sports people, going to different aspects of their career, childhood, whatever your case may be. So Stephanie's getting her own show. Good for her.
Shout out Stephanie. Everything else coming up. Bailey, the celebrity NBA game coming up. Was that next week?
Yep, next Friday, I believe, is the celebrity game. Next week is the All-Star game.
Well, you go. I looked at the tickets, bro. The Oracle must be hurting for some entertainment. You want me to pay that much for this?
Well, I mean, where else can you see BBL Bailey, basketball lady Bailey, as CM Punk coined it? Shoot some hoops, represent her city or her area.
I don't know. There's that video of her going around talking about her cheeks, which the internet is having a field day with that. Yeah, go watch Bailey play basketball. It's gonna be a great time. Have you seen Hogan on the Pat McAfee show?
I did. Shout out Pat. He gets some flack from the wrestling community, maybe not being the best announcer in the world, but he got our boy Terry with this one.
Brother. I mean, dude, this guy said, "Well, I had to be a baby face. I could have went out there and win Hollywood, brother." I'm like, "Oh, come on, man. Like, that's not why you were booed. Let's stop it. What is this guy doing, bro?"
I mean, Hulk Hogan, as we've established, has a lifetime record of lying, spinning things the way he wants to, and usually he's in the field where people will just go along with it or actually believe him, whether it's Fox. Ooh. Well, there's just people out there, and Hogan has cultivated an environment around himself personally. Now, on the outside world, we all know he's full of BS, but he went into the Pat McAfee world thinking he had a brethren, and Pat was like, "Oh yeah, maybe some other stuff was another reason why they booed you, Pat." Hulk.
Yep, he said politics. I'm like, brother, no, Taker got cheered, and Undertaker on his podcast 6 Feet Deep. They talk about this, and he looks like Taker has a good field day with that one. This guy is Jesus Christ. What is wrong with this man? Has he actually worked himself into believing he's a decent human being?
I mean, when he came back the first time to WWE, when he did his locker room apology, his apology wasn't, "Yeah, I'm sorry guys for saying, very racist things about black people.
Don't get caught."
Yeah, the topic was, "Yeah, just watch what you say around people because they might be secretly recording you." Hulk, that was not the reason. That's not what should have been taken away from the situation.
I mean, normally people will go out and they'll go out and like donate to underprivileged communities in the black community. They'll go out and speak. He didn't do any of this. Didn't even have one of those like TV interviews crying, being remorseful. He didn't do any of that.
He retweets black people wearing Hulk Hogan t-shirts, and that's good enough for him.
Yeah, that.
And
Oh,
also, we have to remember he did get the Gawker money. So it's not like he's hurting for money. So maybe if he did, hit rock bottom, maybe he would have had a come to Jesus meeting, but he got bailed out with that Gawker lawsuit.
I mean, I guess. I guess.
There's always another con artist. He went to the Trump stuff, and they're taking him with open arms, and so he's the real American beer stuff. So there's an audience out there who will entertain Hulk Hogan.
Unfortunately. All right. Apollo Cruz tore his pec.
Yep, he injured it on his match with Johnny Gargano last week or 2 weeks ago, and then he just like randomly posted a photo from the surgery room, and he announced he tore his pec. So Cody similar injury. Well, I don't know. I don't think he tore it clean off the bone like Cody did, but a couple months out from Apollo Crews, which is a little bit of a shame because he was finally getting a little bit of TV time on the regular on SmackDown over there.
It's unfortunate for Apollo. Hope he gets better, makes a speedy recovery. The phenomenal AJ Styles is apparently going to Monday Night Raw. The phenomenal one on Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, he came back on SmackDown, had the ill-fated return of the worked shoot, but it was actually real injury, and I don't know what was supposed to come of that, but I guess we'll never find out. He's going over to Raw, which is so fine. Where AJ is in the card, middle, strictly, middle card gatekeeper type. I think he can be fine anywhere on either brand.
I love the phenomenal AJ Styles versus Braun Breaker for the IC title. Let me see that. AJ and Penta. AJ and Gable. Like we just about to get some. Raw is about to be getting some quality wrestling, and I'm very excited. Alexa Bliss is apparently going to SmackDown.
Yep, people inferring that she was set to debut on that San Jose Raw, so yeah, she's going to be on Raw. Nope. Apparently she is going to be going over to SmackDown, which is where the Wyatt Six are, which we still have not seen them since getting moved over to SmackDown. Was it Bo Dallas has an injury? Someone in the faction has an injury. So apparently, because someone's
the guy
injured,
that can talk.
yeah, just because one person's injured, everyone has to be off television. But
well, when it's the guy that can talk and really carries the group, then yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's not an injury that he can't fly, he could still be there. Just have to wrestle.
I mean, we don't know that.
We don't know that. But I do wonder, is Alexa Bliss going to be a part of the Wyatt stuff? I think she's perfectly fine on her own, the women's division.
Can we go back to 5 Feet of Fury, Alexa Bliss?
Well, those Lily dolls sell like hotcakes, and they got a new one out there. So I think she's going to stick to this spooky gimmick.
Or maybe it's just an acknowledgement of what she used to do, but we don't actually do the spooky.
I mean, I'd fine with her just being like the mini goth girl, but which was just kind of like what she evolved into before she left, where she wasn't like as, powerful or whatever the hell she was doing with the Fiend. But just the fact that she's on SmackDown makes me believe there's going to be some sort of crossover between them.
We shall see. Duke Hudson got released. No more Chase U, huh?
Well, Chase U's been gone for a little bit because Rich Holland beat Chase, but yeah, just kind of a weird situation. He gets released, not a part of a group or anything, just him by himself, and then he released a video a couple days ago on the internet, and I thought it was really fascinating when he was like the Mick Foley, two faces of Duke Hudson, one being very angry, kind of trying to get him to say something, while the other one's kind of more in his feelings. So I assume we're going to get more videos of that. Duke was an okay, act. Obviously, the rumors were like Triple H didn't see him as a main roster guy, which I don't know what a main roster guy is because there's such a wide array of people that can be on the main roster. But Chase U is a very limited role, a limited kind of character in NXT, and so I do wonder, what Duke Hudson could have been outside of that. But I guess we'll never know.
Maybe he could have been the veteran on WWE Evolve. Ladies and gentlemen, we heard about the copyrights. This is what's going down. WWE Evolve will be on Tubi. It will be featuring the WWE ID talent. So, your Zara Zackers, your Jack Cartwheels, Ice Williams, Jordan Oasis, etc. And this would kind of be like the next level. It's kind of going to go back to what the original NXT was. A lot of unknowns, just trying to get time, trying to make a name for themselves. So it looks like WWE Evolve, then you go to like NXT Level Up, and then NXT proper, and then boom, main roster. So a fielding system. So this will be great. Great for the NIL talent to really get some reps before they start being featured on NXT. So this is a win-win for everybody.
Ironically, it will be airing on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Is there another wrestling show that airs on 8 p.m. on Wednesday? But neither here nor
I don't
there.
know.
But yeah, like as you said, I mean, Level Up's not a thing anymore, so that they don't have like a true.
Oh, they got rid of Level Up?
They did, so they don't have like a true like single A division, single A league, and now since NXT is on the CW, it's almost too big to be a developmental brand. So, putting these types of wrestlers, getting them some reps on some sort of television, on some sort of programming is good because like you said, the FCW days, the OVW days, OG NXT, that was a place where people could really, try stuff out. And these people who have literally never wrestled for a lot of them are going to, either sink or swim here.
I wonder how it's gonna be very interesting to see like the NIL talent against like these indie people that are getting ID'd, because obviously the indie people will be the veterans in those scenarios, and to see how they can elevate talent. I mean that'll be, I'm sure, something they'll look at too. Like if you're wrestling a person that came straight out of the like LSU or something, and you've been on the indies for like 5 or 6 years, and you gotta carry them through a contest. Let's just to see how you can lead and stuff like that. So I'm very interested to see this. Happy for my friends and people I know that have been ID'd, for them to get this opportunity to elevate and evolve.
Yeah, and I wonder what kind of show is it? Is it just like a main event where it's like they just kind of have matches for the sake of matches, or is it like actually there's going to be some sort of promos and some sort of storylines going on throughout?
Being a WWE Evolve champion.
I think Gabe Sapolsky is actually like kind of involved in this. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, he ran Evolve, so this isn't a surprise.
yeah,
Yeah,
2015 Brandon is a little dead inside from WWE taking over Evolve, but that's okay.
I mean, Evolve. When did Evolve officially die? What, 2020, 2019?
Somewhere around there, because there was the point where they had like some pay-per-views or whatever shows on the network, and then that just kind of fizzled out, I think, because of the pandemic.
Yeah, yeah. Monday Night Raw. It's just him, Jey Uso celebrates his Rumble win. He's out there shedding real tears. He's crying real tears for this Rumble win. And then the Ring General comes out there. Talk about it.
Yeah, he goes out there. I thought it was in Indianapolis, but it was actually in Cleveland, so a different city than where the Rumble was at. And he did his very long Yeet entrance, and I wanted an encore, and he gave him an encore, and it was a special moment. It was a big time reaction from Jey Uso. All these people, including myself, who maybe question the decision to go with Jey as the winner. I don't want to say like, there's no doubt in my mind that it was the right decision, but it just kind of cements that Jey is a popular act and people love him despite maybe his wrestling not being the best in the world. That doesn't really care at points. But Gunther comes out and just kind of stomps that flame out once again, only the way Gunther can. And despite kind of the definitive win on Saturday Night's Main Event, it made me want to see Jey go up against Gunther again and beat him. So I think they did a perfect job at getting Jey over, having him have his moment, and then, having him have that match with Gunther, which is kind of a lower level than a Cody match, but it makes you want to see that match happen.
I mean, look, I think a couple things need to happen. One, I think both Jey and Gunther need, if that is going to be the Mania match, I think they both need one other like quick little feud to get you ready for whatever they do. Like I think Gunther needs just a quick little feud where we can get invested in something. And I mean, probably obviously know like he's not gonna lose the title, but just something to really help elevate his championship reign real quick. And then Jey Uso, I mean, people criticize the in-ring work. I mean, let's see what he can really do. I mean, he's kind of started doing a little different stuff here and there, like he broke up the Poison Rana in the Rumble match. So I mean, Jey and Gunther, I'm sure they will do just fine in if they do go that route for WrestleMania. Now, Cody, on the other hand, I mean, that is that is something else. That's something major.
I mean, they say that the chamber match is whoever Jay's not going to pick, so presumably that's going to be whoever Cody's picking. Um, I mean, Cena seems like the option. Punk, Roman, and Seth seems to be the big non-title match on WrestleMania. So we have some speculation on where we're gonna go, but we're gonna have to wait. We got a month away till or maybe like 3 weeks away till the Elimination Chamber, and 6 weeks all the way until WrestleMania, because it's not until April 20th, which is insane.
Shout out to 420. Episode 420 of this podcast is happening in 2 weeks? Jesus. It's crazy.
Can't wait.
Right. CM Punk defeats Sami Zayn. Give me more Pepsi Phil wrestling on Monday nights. I like it.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match. Kind of surprising that, Sammy and Punk had never wrestled before. I thought maybe, back in the day they would have crossed paths once again, but solid match between these two guys.
Absolutely. I thought it was good business. Punk almost landing on his head off of that exploder into the corner. I was like, hey. But nonetheless, Pepsi Phil gets the job done. CM Punk and Seth Rollins almost got into they got into a little bit of a squabble up. What you call it? When Seth was walking to the back after he cut his promo. What do you think of Rollins' promo, by the way?
It was fine, I guess. I don't know where they're going exactly with this character, because I think maybe he's gonna lean a little bit more heelish, especially if he is, in a feud with Punk and Roman. He's gonna be by far like the third guy in that feud. So
The third man, brother.
so maybe he does lean a little bit more heelish, but in this promo he was kind of just straightforward Seth Rollins like he's been in the past, which
Bro,
which I'm not the biggest fan of, but it was perfectly fine for what he's been doing.
bro, why was my guy dressed like Rob Zombie and like TNA Randy Savage?
Well, he's been dressing like this for how many years now? He's running
No, but this one was just like, wow.
I just want to know where he gets all these outfits from.
Yeah, I mean, I heard him on a podcast. He said like Seth Rollins has a bigger closet than him personally, which is crazy. Like I think they got a bigger house just so they can be able to fit all of this stuff. And he says he never wears like the same thing twice, so I think a lot of the stuff gets given away or donated or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
He's a stylist. He is a guy.
as much as I might not like the character work of Seth Rollins, I cannot deny he has some flamboyant outfits. Some of them hit, some of them don't.
The drip.
Mm-hmm.
The drip, yeah. After the match, Sami Zayn gets attacked by Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens looked like a madman. I mean, did you see his eye?
Was that real, brother? Was that makeup? We'll never know.
Whatever. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, the package pile driver. Look, are we doing this for WrestleMania, huh?
I mean, maybe, or they run it in Toronto in a stadium at for Elimination Chamber. A little quick, but also I don't know unless
They have to beat each other to get the last spot. Ooh.
Unless Sammy did get stretchered out after Raw, so maybe they do an angle where he's kind of gone for a couple weeks. Still haven't seen Randy after he's been gone, so I don't know where he's been, if he's going to come back at all. But yeah, it was a solid angle and kind of jump starts whatever they're doing for WrestleMania. Allegedly they're going to have the singles match one of the 2 nights, so
we'll see.
Should be fun.
Charlotte Flair comes out there, cuts her promo. She says, I would hate me too, because as good as she is. And then Rhea Ripley comes out there, and people don't seem to be opposed to them running it back for a third time. And I think they'd be the first women to ever do so, on some Rock Austin ish. And because if you think back at it, like WrestleMania 39, that was a great one. And then 36, that was the best, like, it was one of the best wrestling matches of the pandemic era, especially very early on. Like, I think that was the best wrestling match of that WrestleMania in the Performance Center. And this is another tidbit. If they were to do it, it would be for another title. Like, the first time was the NXT title, the second time was the SmackDown Championship, and now this one will be the Women's World title. 3 different championships at WrestleMania. Has never been done before.
Yeah, as much as I think Charlotte and Rhea is probably the better option, between her and Tiffy. But as much as I'm up for that match at WrestleMania, I did not like this segment. I don't know what they were going for with Charlotte because all of her,
I think
you
I
know,
know. Remember when Hunter comes back in '02. You know, beautiful was it Beautiful Day by U2 was playing or whatever. Were they trying to go for that like person like goes away as a bad guy as a heel and then comes back after a career threatening injury and comes back beloved and
well, if that was the case, the video packages would have been her in the training room, in the in the hospital, recovering,
well
rehabbing,
yeah but
not
I'm
her on a yacht.
yeah I that is true, but that's what I was trying to make a connection to. Like, was that what they were trying to do? Is that what they were trying to go for? Like, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, maybe she was training on that yacht, and that's all you just saw the yacht.
Maybe, but I thought this was kind of a miss from all different angles, including Rhea. Rhea comes out and she you know, says that she respects Charlotte, which was fine. But then she also kind of like devolved almost back into that 2020 Rhea Ripley, where she kind of felt like she's the kid going up against the bigger star in Charlotte. When at this point, Rhea's, I would say, a bigger star than Charlotte's ever been. Like I know she made event at
Really?
WrestleMania, but Rhea is like on another level compared to what Charlotte's been.
You think Rhea Ripley is a bigger star than Charlotte Flair?
Yeah, Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte was she was in that WrestleMania main event because they wanted her to be, not because she deserved it. That should have been a singles Becky and Ronda, and everybody knows that.
Well, it's the legacy factor. Which another tidbit: every WrestleMania match Charlotte's ever had has been for a championship. So just a little sidebar. Um, I don't know, man. We got to wait to see. I mean, she popped up on NXT and confronted Julia. I was like, oh, I didn't see this coming at all. So very interesting stuff that's going on. Liv Morgan defeated Io Sky to qualify for the Women's Chamber.
Yeah, match was actually not that bad, to be honest. I thought they
Come on now,
had some
something
good
on Liv.
action. Rhea gets involved, kind of accidentally, cost Io the chance, which I thought was a cheeky little finish there. But once again, can we just have clean finishes? Also, before we go, Raw, Netflix, we've been fine these first couple weeks. What the hell happened to the feed? It was terrible, especially the main event at the very end of the Sammy
Man, that
Punk
shit
thing.
was
That thing was
messing
it
up.
was glitching out.
I don't know. They need to squabble up with that connection. Before we get into AEW, we're gonna hear from Marlee when her Rumble and Raw thoughts.
The 2025 Royal Rumble happened this past Saturday, and while I didn't hate it, I didn't think it was the best. And if I had to give a threshold to compare it to, I don't really have a favorite Rumble that is TBD as of this recording. But to compare it to a Rumble I enjoyed, I am going to be biased and say 2018 because that was the inaugural year for the Women's Royal Rumble, the first year we got the men's and the women's. So, in comparison to 2018, questionable. Because I didn't hate the winner for the men's Royal Rumble. Going with Jey Uso was the solid choice. And of course, I was biased. I was full on the CM Punk winning the Royal Rumble train because out of all of the possible winners, he had the most to gain because he had never won a Royal Rumble, never made events at WrestleMania. So, I mean, it was kind of set in stone for him to win until Logan Paul did what he did. But after he got eliminated and I noticed that Jay was still in there, I knew that there was still a shot. Anybody but Logan Paul train after Punk got eliminated. So, congratulations to Jay Uso. Very glad that they chose the kind of non-traditional route with the Royal Rumble winner as opposed to the Women's Rumble because you should have known by the vignettes that Charlotte Flair was going to win this Rumble. I don't know why she needed to win this Rumble because she's done it before and she's held almost every title but the newly introduced women's mid-card titles. So I feel like with the women's rumble, it could have been anybody else. I would have been happy with a Liv Morgan Royal Rumble win. I would have rather had Liv and Rhea part 18 at WrestleMania 41 as opposed to whatever match we're gonna get with Charlotte, because I don't hate her, I'm just burnt out on her. I feel like it's the same thing we see every Charlotte run, so until we see something different, I don't really have an opinion on Charlotte going forward. But the sleeper match, the match that I thought was not going to be as good as it was, ended up being very entertaining to me. Cody and Kevin in that ladder match, it was kind of like, I think it was, I can't remember what pay-per-view it was off the top of my head, but I believe it was the first time that Swerve and Hangman wrestled, and that match kind of just pulled me in when I least expected it. It was the same feeling. That's how I felt with Cody and Kevin in this ladder match. And then that ending shot of Cody holding the title above Kevin Owens' quote unquote lifeless body, that was a shot for 2025 if I've ever seen one. And one final note about the 2025 Royal Rumble that kind of just blew my mind while I was watching it. It was not only Jacob Fatu's first Royal Rumble, which when he got eliminated, I went full Darth Vader. When he goes, no, I went full Darth Vader. But it's crazy to me that Jacob Fatu's first Royal Rumble was John Cena's last Royal Rumble. And kudos to John Cena for using his status and just declaring himself for the Elimination Chamber, saying that he's going to win number 17, saying that he's going to main event WrestleMania, because until he said it, at least it might not have been like noticeable to me, but until he said it, I didn't realize that he had never really used his status, is not the word I'm looking for, but the word I'm going to use here. Use his status to kind of get his foot in his marquee matches in his last year. But yeah, no, it wasn't great, but I was thoroughly entertained. And I feel like that was the point at the end of the day, to entertain the people. Raw after the Rumble was your typical episode of Monday at Raw. Jay Uso opened the show, and I liked that he went out and spoke from the heart. I liked that it was authentic. Like, you could tell that he was nervous, you could tell that he was overcome with emotion, because if you really think about it, nobody ever thought that the Usos would branch out on their own, branch out past the tag team division. But at the same time, they had done everything that they needed to do in the tag team division except have their own separate solo runs. Because think about it, that feud that they had with the New Day, probably one of the greatest tag team feuds in the modern era. After that, and you jump into the Bloodline stuff and you wrap up your storylines in the Bloodline as a tag team, what else is there to do except branch out on your own? And to see that he has made it to this level, it's just crazy to see. Because I even remember coming home from school, watching Raw, seeing the Usos with the face paint and the colors. That trajectory is crazy. Still crazy. And then I think later on in the night we had Charlotte's promo. And I'm not even gonna lie, I actually wanted to hear what she had to say, but everybody was just upset with the fact that she won the Rumble, and I think that I even expressed my displeasure in Charlotte winning the Rumble. But that doesn't mean I didn't want to hear what she had to say, because she was out for a year with a knee injury. It's just a very tricky injury. I can't speak from experience, but it seems like it's a very tricky injury to bounce back from. So I did find that kind of rude that they didn't give her the floor, but the professionalism in turning it around and turning heel or tapping into that heel energy mid promo. Solid shit. Punk and Sammy had my match of the night. Personally, and that's not even like biased. They were just in real graps. Real graps. That's all I gotta say. They went in there and they cooked because I can't remember off the top of my head. It was either running knee or Punk went for a bulldog and then it got countered into the blue. But it was the bulldog actually. Now that I'm speaking, it's coming back to me. It was the bulldog. Punk went for the bulldog and Sammy countered it with the blue thunder bomb. That went crazy. That was absolutely crazy. And then Penta versus Ludwig Kaiser. I am Team Ludwig Kaiser. Put some respect on his name, because he goes out there Monday nights. When they send that man out there, he is in the kitchen. That's not a wrestling ring, that's a kitchen. Ludwig Kaiser can cook, and especially what he did with Penta, that was a solid match as well, too. I wasn't mad at it. But also circling back to the Charlotte promo, when Rhea said that she would beat the respect into Charlotte, I thought that was kind of crazy. That was kind of It was a kind of a mic drop line of the night type moment for me personally. And then Rhea costing Io her Elimination Chamber qualifying match and giving it to Liv. Like, man, the layers there, they might have already planted the seeds for Rhea versus Io at Mania, and I would personally rather see that because we've already gotten Rhea versus Charlotte two manias in a row, which I was reminded of. I thought it was just one time, but I forgot about the pandemic mania. But yeah, no, there does not need to be. We don't need Rhea versus Charlotte 3, personally. And then Seth Rollins walked out looking like Van Helsing, which I thought was that actually caught me off guard because I expected him to come out with something crazier than that. But WWE has not failed to surprise me in 2025. So who knows? But overall, it was just typical Raw, typical Rumble. Shaky start on the road to road to WrestleMania, but I'm sure we'll get there. We'll get there.
Thank you, Marley Marr. Will Ospreay defeats Davis. Davis who?
Mark Davis, his old boy from the Empire, from Aussie Open.
Oh, he's on the show.
He was on the show, and I they teased that it was going to be a member of the Don Callis family. So a lot of people thought it was going to be a returning Trent Beretta. It was not, luckily.
Trent.
But yeah, it was Mark Davis and Will Ospreay. They had a solid match. They kind of played up that maybe Mark Davis isn't actually a part of the Callis family. Maybe he will turn back to the light and go back with Will Ospreay. Who knows? And then, promo wise, Ospreay called out Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega cut a promo on Don Callis. I thought that was actually one of Kenny Omega's like better promos because it was just kind of straightforward, saying they're gonna beat him. They're the best in AEW and the best run through them. So it was just a very straightforward promo from Kenny, but I thought it worked and did a good job of building up their tag match at Grand Slam on Saturday. So after you watch BBL Bailey play basketball, well then
Grand Slam is
then
this
you watch the
Saturday.
dunk contest, and then you watch Grand Slam next Saturday.
Oh, it's this Saturday or next Saturday?
It's next Saturday.
The 15th.
Yes, late night. It's gonna be like 10 o'clock.
Really? Why?
Well, okay, I don't know 10 o'clock, but it's gonna be after the NBA stuff.
Okay, I was about to say why. The Guns return to challenge the Hurt Syndicate, but they hurt people.
Hurt Syndicate, yep, they come out. They got a good reaction from the ATL crowd.
They hurt people.
Once again,
Gun? Is he an ATL boy? No, he's New York, huh?
who? West Side Gun, he's from Buffalo.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Hurt Syndicate comes out once again, kind of seems like the baby faces, and then the light goes out. I was like, oh, are they gonna face, the Hellhounds or whatever the hell their names are? But no, it was the Guns. The Guns return after a couple weeks of
Did they come out to Many Men?
they did not.
Okay, thank God. I'm tired of the cultural appropriation.
But we did in one of the video packages, we did get I think it was Austin. I get them confused. Which is the taller one? Which one's the shorter one? I think Austin's the shorter one, right?
Yeah, Cole is the one that really looks like his dad with the man bun.
Yeah, so Austin was in his car listening to Many Men, so a little callback there. But they did not come out to that song, and
Not
they
gonna lie,
challenged them, and seemed like they're gonna face them next week for the titles, or at least a match.
not gonna lie, the 360 pan entrance was kind of cool. They just needed a different song. Yeah.
So I think the Hurt Syndicate continued to be kind of in the weird bubble of they are heels, but yet they don't act like heels, and then now they're facing a returning babyface team that is probably going to get undercut by them. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see what's going on there.
MJF and Dustin Rhodes promo. I love this. Dustin Rhodes is still going, man. At 55 years old, he's a survivor. That's why he's still here. He said I'm better than you, Max, and you freaking know. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, as much anti I have been on Jeff Jarrett, like this whole time, this story should have been about Dustin Rhodes
This
trying to get one last run.
this is the promo that Jeff Jarrett should have cut.
But once again, I would say Dustin Rhodes better than Jeff Jarrett.
I mean,
I don't know if Jeff Jarrett has that promo in him.
Dustin Rhodes is also the grandson of a plumber.
Exactly. And then we did get a little Cody reference, not full blown, but he almost went there, and then Dustin cut him off and then did a beatdown. And then
what did he say? What did he say?
He said, "Oh, you used to live under the shadow of your dad, and now you live under the shadow of your little brother."
Shout out. WWE champion got a mention on AEW. Tight.
And we're gonna have a Dustin and MJF match next week. So there you go.
I like that. Are they doing Jared and MJF at the pay-per-view?
I guess because they're not advertising it yet for Grand Slam.
Why? Okay. Mariah May defeated Queen Amanita. I love Queen Amanita. Shout out, respectfully, of course. Toni Storm looked absolutely like Mariah May. That was kind of creepy.
Yeah. And then Mariah May was on commentary, and she actually sold it. Like she was kind of weirded out by it, which, like, I get it. But then they did the whole reveal of Timeless Toni Storm, a couple weeks ago on Collision. Mariah May completely no-sold it. So I don't really understand what they're going for. Like Mariah May completely didn't care about Toni Storm reverting back to her rookie days, and then being a sham this entire time, and then now that she's performing as herself, now she's freaked out. I just don't understand what they're going for with this whole Toni Storm stuff. Like performance-wise, Toni, respectfully, she looked good. She was playing the role very well. But I just don't know, like, from a storyline perspective, where this is going, what this has to do with, wrestling in the match itself.
I wish I could tell you. Ricochet defeated Swerve. What the hell?
Yeah, surprisingly, Ricochet did beat Swerve Strickland.
Clean?
Kind of clean. Swerve hit his house call, and then he was going to go for his Swerve stomp.
You don't have to call.
But Ricochet kind of in a defensive, accidentally on purpose, maybe, who knows, kind of kicked or stomped Swerve in the nether regions. And so then Ricochet hit his little finishing elbow forearm gimmick for the win. So, thought it was a foregone conclusion. Swerve was going to win this and we get to move on, but no. Swerve actually loses, so he's probably going to have to get his win back at Revolution, probably.
Yeah. That's going to do it for us. Ladies and gentlemen, BTW 2025 Kirk Wright Memorial Battle Royal is happening. A lot of matches going on. Dom Sirius and Los Suavecito is going to be the Starboy Charlie, Marcus Lewis, and Jaya Jewel. World's Freshest Tag Team defend the BTW Tag titles against the Los Ricos. Titus Alexander versus Timothy Thatcher. Vinny Massaro and JT Thorne versus Bret the Threat and Jerry Gigolo. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Allen Angels. Of course, you'll have Sandra Moon versus Johnny Robbie versus Viva Van for the BTW Women's Championship. Not to mention an 18-man battle royal. Friday, don't want to miss it. Newark Pavilion. Doors are 6:30, bell time 7:30. They always do it up a good time. It's always a good time over at BTW. If you're free, if you're in the area, pull up. It's going to be a good time. Thank you all so much. Back next week with more professional wrestling, sports entertainment talk. We love you. Be safe and stay dangerous. Yes, sir.
Get up, this is a revolution. This is our time to rise. Look deep within your mind. Look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert, this is gonna hurt. When your face is in the dirt, you'll know you're dead.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.